Hi guys and welcome back to my channel. A little bit of a different video today. I actually had the idea for this video on Christmas Eve, but I didn't do it because it was bloody difficult trying to get out of London on Christmas Eve. So I'm going to do it now, even though I know that I should have done this way sooner, but I only had the idea on Christmas Eve, so bear with. I feel a bit uncomfortable because I'm exposing myself a little bit. I don't like to get too personal on this channel. I mean, I do to an extent, but in a way that I'm comfortable with. This is making me feel a little bit uncomfortable, but I think that's a good thing because you should always try and push yourself out of your comfort zone. It's good for you to do that mentally every now and then, as long as you can handle it. I can handle this, like no big deal, it's just me talking in front of camera. But it's a little bit more personal than I usually do for videos. Also, yes, I'm bringing emo back. If you've seen the title of this video, obviously you know it's about how I am staying sober during the festive period. Probably should have come out of this video a few weeks ago, seeing as we're basically over the festive period, but it is what it is. Now, anything I say in this video is incredibly subjective to me and my own, for lack of a better word, journey through sobriety. It's a bit of a confusing, contradictory one because I'm going to offer what I find helpful, but it might not be because everyone goes through life differently. So it could be that I'm just talking for the sake of talking and this doesn't really help anyone but my own narcissistic needs to talk about myself. However, I have a lot of thoughts and feelings on this subject, so it might be good to just get them out and see what grows. So the festive period can be a difficult time for people choosing to be sober or who are in recovery from drug and alcohol addictions. This time last year, and Dad, don't watch this video. I already told you I'm going to make a video kind of like this, but just don't watch it. Maybe like watch EastEnders or something instead. This time last year, I was in the depths of a week-long binge on alcohol and gear. It was neither fun nor good, nor even fresh. At the time, I did think, it's alright, innit? It's good fun. It wasn't. I was drunk for all of Christmas Day. In fact, I woke up Christmas Day hungover from the night before and started drinking as soon as it was possible for me to. And I was drunk the whole day. And yeah, some parts of it were fun, but I was a bit of a monster as well. I was a bit of a nightmare. I wasn't too nice to like some of my siblings. It's all regrettable stuff now, but I've worked through the guilt. It is what it is. Juxtaposed with that, I have just spent Christmas Day sober and it's been bloody lovely, actually. Just sat around eating loads of food and hung out with my nearest and dearest. For a little bit of backstory, because I suppose I have to give it, alcohol and drugs have been a problem for me since I was the tender age of 14. I have had brief forays into sobriety. They won't usually last too long, a couple months here, a couple months there. Didn't drink alcohol for about 20 months in my early 20s and then that all went tits up. I can do a video on this some other time if any of you guys are interested in that. But basically it's taken a lot of false starts for me to get to this point where it's been about 9 months and I'm completely sober from everything. When I gave up drinking for 20 months before, I would still do a lot of cocaine and ecstasy, and then I stopped that. So it's taken me a long time to get to this point, and also recently I've felt really at peace with everything, because before it was, for the longest time, it was a mental struggle of, I can't believe I'm going to go the rest of my life sober. I don't want to do that. It's not fair. Why can't I get drunk like everyone else and not have a problem? Spoiler alert, a lot of people actually have a problem with drinking drugs. We just don't really talk about it. Britain itself has a massive drinking culture that is kind of unhealthy, but for some reason none of us really talk about it. So here I am talking about it. Bloody hell, bit difficult being British. Imagine being British and not drinking. What have I done to myself? No, I'm joking. It's alright, it's alright. I've gotten to this point recently of acceptance where I'm so at peace with... It feels like I have had a lot of fun, I'm not going to lie. I've had a lot of benders that have been fun, but I've had more benders that have not been fun and ultimately did damage my growth as a human being. But this is just me though. Other people can have benders and still be absolutely fine and good humans. Me, not so much. I turned into a bit of an arsehole. I'm a bit of an arsehole anyway, but I lost myself for a good few years and it's taken getting to this point to... It sounds stupid, but rediscover myself essentially, and I feel just so much happier and more content with who I am. Turns out I'm an emo kid that's gonna try and like bring back emo in 2020. I just feel really stable. And that's not to say the hard part's over. This is going to be something I have to keep in check for the rest of my life. But I'm actually at a point where I want to do that. I'm willing to do it if it means developing mentally, physically as well. Been doing like running 5Ks and shit. We'll get into that in a second. But I think I've become kinder, not so much of an arsehole, much more creative, better work ethic. Yeah, I feel good about it all. So at the moment, for the first time in my life, when people are like, oh, don't you miss it though? No, I don't actually. And it's taken a long time to get to this moment. So let's bloody talk about how I've been staying sober through Christmas. I think an important factor to all of this is having supportive friends and family. For me, it's been quite paramount. I find the human connection when I do have those moments of weakness, when I do have those moments of, bloody hell, why can't I drink? The human connection and having someone, in my case, an AA guy who I can ring up and talk to and talk through. When we have that moment of human connection, that helps those horrible feelings of, bloody give me something now, subside. I'm quite a self-assured and confident and honest person, so I don't feel shame in talking to my friends or being honest about how I'm feeling. I'm very upfront and a little bit too on the nose and blunt, actually, about it. But when I said to, you know, my closest circle, I'm going to give up drinking, well, I'm going to go sober, I'm going to give it all up, none of them were really surprised. Unfortunately, that isn't the case for a lot of people. You might have drinking buddies or people who may try and sabotage these lines of thinking. They don't want you to get better because then they might have to assess themselves, have a bit of self-awareness and look at their own drinking habits. This can happen if people have like drinking buddies. They discover when they go sober that they were only ever drinking buddies and not day-to-day actual friends. And it's a difficult thing to do, but sometimes you need to get yourself out of those situations where this is going to be a problem. Hard as it may be though, it's quite easy to get all sanctimonious and holy and thou and like, oh, I don't drink, I don't put drugs in my body anymore. Like, yeah, well, I did for years, so, you know, I'm no better than these people. I'm not saying that, definitely not. It might be a bit difficult, because we all do judge each other inside secretly, but everyone's going through their own shit, so it's very important if you need to take yourself away from people who are drinking too much, or doing drugs too much, or doing coke too much, or whatever, don't judge them for it. Be kind to them about it, the same way that you should be kind to yourself about the fact that you might have a problem. Luckily, my closest, tightest circle were all incredibly supportive. And even acquaintances and just friends and, you know, even some of you lot are very, very supportive. But there were some people that I had to stop hanging out with when I decided to make these decisions. And that's fine, because at the end of the day, the only person in charge of my life is me. I have to live a life that's worth living for myself. Sometimes you need to let people go. If you don't have a supportive circle or people that you can talk to, then there are recovery groups. There are places like AA or NA. There are organisations to get the support you need. You can even, if you don't have any AAs in your area, though you probably would, it's like a fight club. It's like a fight club, but everyone just stays sober. Then there should be support groups and online communities on the internet, online, that's what it means, that you can look up. What also helps me stay sober is honesty, the ability to be honest with myself and reflect and look upon my own emotions. Really feel like doing cocaine even though it's only 10 a.m. and it's a Tuesday, I'm at work. Why? Why am I feeling this way? Just really like bearing your own bones and your own soul to yourself. But say you're at a party and there's people you don't know and you can't be bothered with it. Personally, subjectively, I have no problem talking to people I don't know about the fact that I am sober, because I am naturally conceited and love any excuse to talk about myself. But if you don't feel that comfortable and you're at a party and, you know, people are drinking or whatever, then there's a few things you can do to trick other people into thinking you're drinking. I mean, say you're never going to see them again, so it doesn't really matter. You could always just say that you're the designated driver, so you don't want to drink. Or if you just have a glass full of soda water and lime or Coca-Cola, most people will just naturally assume there's alcohol in it. So you can always just be like, I've got a drink here, mate. It's fine. Most people also are always thinking about themselves, so they're not really going to notice if you're drinking or not. You might get that one idiot that's like, oh, shots, everyone have a shot. Well, you could just be like, look, mate, I'm not 16. You can tell I'm British. I'm not 16. I don't want to do shots. I was at a house party recently and I had a glass full of Coca-Cola the whole night. No one questioned it. No one was ever like, oh, whenever someone was like, oh, do you need a drink? I was like, no, fine. I danced with everyone, which is stuff that I wouldn't have even done if I was drunk. Today. Ate some crisps, went home at 3:30. Everyone else was fucked. Like, people were getting on it. Well, I was just happy as Larry. I was on this dance floor at one point and I was looking up at, because there were all these lights. Dance floor was like in this living room, there were all these lights, right? And I looked up at it and I was like, oh, mate, this reminds me of like MDMA. And this guy turned to me and was like, oh, I'm on a bit of MDMA. And I was like, good for you, buddy. I suppose I'm quite lucky in that I've never used alcohol as a way to be social or socialise with other people. I don't need to do that. I am extroverted, I suppose. I naturally act quite scatty and outlandish and overconfident and a bit stupid, I guess. There have been times where I've been at a pub and people who might not know me so well, towards the end of the night when I'm like, oh yeah, no, I'm fine, I'm sober, would be like, really? Because you seemed the most drunk out of everyone here, really? You don't drink? So that's just naturally how I am. Most people assume that YouTubers put it on. I tone myself down. I tone my actual personality down because I think people would just assume when she's just acting or being a bit outlandish. Naturally, I'm a fucking idiot. So you have to just be honest with yourself, and if you're capable of it, honest with other people. Like, what are the reasons for you drinking? My issue with drugs and alcohol was escapism from reality because I couldn't deal with the fact that this is life and I have a responsibility to live. It gets very esoteric and abstract when I talk about this, so I don't really talk about it much. I'm not going to go into it that much, but I think a lot of it was a rejection of having to live and thus having to die. But in doing so, I made my quality of life fucking shit. So, pro tip, maybe don't do that. Maybe just get a therapist. The thing about drugs and alcohol is your problems are still there on the other side of that high, on the other side of that hangover. So you need to be able to just look your problems straight in the eye and deal with them. And I'm not the best at doing that still, but I'm trying my hardest, and sometimes life can be pretty bloody alright actually. Just people ruin it, I'm joking. Remind yourself that it's just a few days. Christmas is one day, New Year's Eve is one evening, your birthday is one day, weddings are one day. Funny story actually, once, earlier this year I was at one of my friends' weddings and it got to a point in the night where I was getting a bit antsy, feeling like, do you know what, bloody, yeah, a whiskey would be really nice right now. I text my guy, my life coach, let's call him that. I text him to say, bit of a struggle, would it be the worst thing in the world if I had some whiskey? Of course, with me, it never ends at one whiskey. I'm incapable of it ending at one whiskey. It turns into one whiskey, then a bottle of whiskey, and then somehow I've managed to procure gear somewhere, even though I'm on a tiny island in the middle of the Mediterranean Sea. I've still managed to do it. Dad, don't watch this video. So my guy gave me a ring and he managed to put it into perspective for me, in which he said, Alizee, if you were going to do it, you probably should have started doing it hours ago, because really you've only got 2 hours of this wedding left and then everyone's going to go to bed. So what's the point in getting drunk if you're not going to be able to... My life coach likes to use humour to be able to get through to me, and it works. The way he puts things into perspective, again, this links to supportive friends. I don't know where I'd bloody be without my mates. He can put things into words and make me see it from a different angle in a way that no one else quite can with me, and it really hammers home the lesson he's trying to impart, the knowledge, the wisdom. And that I've managed to carry with me through other things. You know, nothing lasts forever. Time is constantly moving on. The moment, the feeling will pass. But Christmas is just one day. It's not really that different from any other day, apart from, you know, maybe with your family and friends. Sometimes you need to be honest and accept that you feel a bit shit. As soon as you stop struggling, because I would struggle with these feelings. Like, oh, bloody hell, I just want to get drunk, I just want to get drunk, I just want to, like, do drugs or whatever. I would struggle with these feelings and try and fight against them. And as soon as I just stopped doing that, again, this is what my coach told me, as soon as you accept it and go, yeah, do you know what, I do feel a bit shit right now, and I would like to engage in a bit of, you know, thoughtless hedonism. As soon as you accept it, the struggle lessens. It's a very strange mind trick. As soon as you just go, yeah, oh, I would like to get a bit drunk on Christmas Day, but then again, Christmas Day, it's only going to last for another 10 hours, and is that worth ruining all the hard work I've put? No, it's not really worth it, actually. Yeah, I can sit out 10 hours, and then after an hour or so, the moment probably passes, and you probably forget you felt that, because Gavin and Stacey Christmas special's on, which is bigger than the Queen's bloody speech. Can't believe they left us on that cliffhanger ending. See what I mean? Parties themselves usually only go on for a few hours, don't they? It's silly, because I'm quite surprised at this, because when I would go to parties, they would last for a long time, because you just up because of the uppers or because of what you've taken. You just up for like fucking hours. Most people, they go to the pub, they'll have a little after party, and then that'll do them, they'll go to bed. I know, I'm surprised at that as well. So if you can last for however many days, weeks, months, years you've been doing sobriety, you can last a few more hours. Just perspective, isn't it? Another thing I would do is appreciate just how much better life is now. Emotionally, mentally, physically. It's all the little things. Because I can't do stuff like just black out for hours or days at a time, and I have to, you know, fill up my time with other stuff. I've started doing my little hobbies again. Gaming, reading, writing. I've been writing a lot. Drawing. I haven't drawn since I moved to London. So the other day, I got the old pen and paper out and did a little bit of drawing of it's meant to be Russell Brand. I think from that angle it looks a bit like me though. You need hobbies and things to take your mind off of the thoughts. It's weird because you also can't use hobbies as pure distraction, because your problems are still going to be there on the other side of that drawing. You need to face your problems head on, but having hobbies and appreciating all the little things in life absolutely helps tremendously. Exercise as well, that's a massive one. Our parents were right, our gym teachers were right when they told us, look, you need to exercise a couple times a week. I've been running 5Ks recently because coming the new year, I want to do like some 5-kilometer races, not like racing against other people, but like charity stuff, you know, and 10-kilometer ones, you know, build my way up to that. So I've been running a lot of 5Ks recently, and exercise has just been incredible. It's helping my sleep, it's stabilizing my moods a bit more. The natural high that comes from the endorphin kick is bloody brilliant. Why can't I get addicted to that and doing yoga and eating kale smoothies instead of just doing loads of gear? If you can't already tell, having a sense of humour about it all is what helps me, because I could sit here and be like, oh, woe is me, my brain is designed to be against me, but I would much rather make a bit of a joke about it, because humour is just how I navigate through life anyway. Also, be kind to yourself. If you do relapse, I'm not saying go do it, it's not a good idea, obviously don't, but if you do, then just be kind to yourself. You're human, it happens. Make sure you have a supportive system in place so that if it does happen, you can immediately seek, you know, help and the support you need. I'm in a position now mentally where I want to be sober for the rest of my life. If something happens along the way and I have a few bumps along the road, then that's okay. I'm going to try to be nice to myself about it, because it might happen. It might be inevitable. It is what it is. But I'm going to do the best I can to make sure I'm in a position where it's very unlikely that happens, or that if it does happen and I do have a drink, I can immediately call someone and be like, fucked up, didn't I? I want myself to have the best life that is possible, and it's not possible if I'm under the influence of anything. And I deserve to give myself the best life possible. I've been an arsehole. I'll admit that. Doing cocaine several times a week for a long time turned me into a bit of a wanker. I've dealt with all my shame, because that's another thing. When you go sober, you suddenly feel like all this guilt and shame for all the shitty things that you used to do. But if you use that kind of retroactively to reassess who you are as a person and think, I'm not a good person. I don't think I'm a good person. I think I'm a pretty shit person. But I am trying every day to be a bit of a better person. And I think that I deserve that. I don't know if that makes any sense or not. But I would like to do better and be better, and I deserve to give myself that opportunity, which I can only do if I do stay sober. I'm not proud of how I used to act, and that helps me as well. But I'm not going to beat myself up about it, and I try not to live with regret, because that's a bit of a dangerous thing, living with regret. All you can do is just learn from your past mistakes and try and implement them into making sure that you become a better person. If you want to be a better person, of course. It's up to you, really. Do what you want. But I'd like to try and be a bit of a better person. So I've been a little cunt for the past 6 years, when it really started to get a bit wavy and out of control. So yeah, that's how I've been staying sober during the festive period. I've got good friends around me. I've been exercising regularly. It's only a couple of days out of the year. It'll be January soon. Then it'll be my birthday. Great. Brilliant. What next? Death. Whether you're sober or whether you're bloody lucky and you can still drink. I'm joking. I do hope that you had a happy holidays, Merry Christmas and all that. You enjoyed the new year. I don't know when I'm going to put this up. Probably going to put this up in the next couple of hours. In retrospect, I probably should have put this up weeks ago, before we're almost done with the festive period, but I'm a donut, what can I say? I feel a bit better getting all of this off my chest. I don't know if anyone in the world is going to find any of this helpful. The ramblings of an utter narcissist, a delusional one at that. But if it does, then I guess that's pretty cool. Thank you so much for watching, and I guess I will see you next time.